school, excuse me, a senior in high school. So he's got to get to class in just a little bit. So we're going to go get started. It's a real honor to have Aaron here. He's someone I've truly known his entire life. I remember the day he was born. I was at his bris. I got to officiate. I've seen him grow up to be this extraordinary young man. Aaron is currently a senior at Emery Weiner High School. He is already committed to play wheelchair basketball at the University of Alabama. Highly recruited player. And he's going to do great things there as he's done here in Houston. We're going to miss him next year. But when we were planning out this year's programs, and we are, of course, are on the top, one of the themes of this year, the theme of this year is overcoming challenges. What wisdom can we find from our tradition, and what inspiration can we find from heroes here and abroad that can inspire us to overcome the challenges we may face? So when we started planning out the year, Jennifer and I said, we've got to get Aaron. And so Aaron, thank you. So Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're up to, and how life is going for you right now. And we'll talk about your story. Just start whatever you'd like, Aaron.
So thank you for having me, first of all. So, Peter and I, my older brother, he's a freshman at Alabama now. But right before quarantine and everything, we were getting ready for the upcoming season, and getting ready for Peter going to Alabama. So we were in the gym working out five days a week, and on the court conditioning, shooting, scrimmaging 6 to 7 days a week. So once COVID hit, it was a pretty big blow, to our schedule. We weren't able to go to, any gyms. We weren't able to practice basketball, so it got a little hard. So we stopped, working out and playing basketball, for a while. So, once COVID hit, it was more of just, trying to stay safe, stay distanced, stay healthy. And then a few months after COVID, started, a few months into the pandemic, when we started getting comfortable with everything and started adjusting to our new normal life. I started going to the gym again, with a mask, obviously. Started working out again. I started playing basketball. So now try and keep myself on a pretty strict schedule. So I try and, get onto a court at least five days a week. I try and get into a gym around the same amount of time, around 5 days also a week. But beside that, it's just been online school, because Emery Weiner, the high school that I'm attending, and they started in-person school about, I would say, 2.5 months ago, or a month and a half ago, maybe. And they're letting you have the option of staying online if you feel more comfortable doing so. So I've been doing online for this whole school year so far. So that's pretty much what my weeks consist of: just online school, getting outside as much as possible, and then trying to get ready for Alabama next year.
So Aaron, you mentioned you work out 5 days a week, and that's not easy for anybody, no matter our age. What's your inspiration? How do you find that inspiration to take such good care of yourself and get out there on the basketball court?
Honestly, just thinking of next year, because I know that when I get onto the court next year, when I'm playing for Alabama, all the other players that have already been there for a couple years, or more than I have, they're going to be in better shape than I am, because they have the team to practice with, they have the trainers at Alabama, they have the resources that they need. So I just have to tell myself, if you want to be able to keep up with them, if you want to be a star on the team, you have to push yourself, and you have to be better than everyone else.
And what is it about wheelchair basketball that you and Peter got so attracted to and become so good at it?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, a year, when we found the sport in 2011, it's just, we went to this West Gray multi-purpose center, where our team practices, and we just saw them playing the sport, and we just fell in love with it. And ever since then, we kept in touch with the coach and started practicing with them, and then we just joined the team. And ever since then, it's been our job. It's something that it's become such a big part of our life.
So Aaron, you're 18 now, 17 or 18?
17. I'll be 18 in April.
And so the accident was 9 years ago. So you were about 9 years old when it happened.
Or yeah, 8. I was 8.
8 years old. And not everyone here knows exactly what happened. Are you comfortable talking about what happened?
Yeah, that's fine. In 2011, my family and I were on a road trip to Colorado, and on the way back, I think it was in West Texas, um, a distracted driver hit our car head on. So I lost both of my parents, and my brother and I are both paralyzed from the waist down with spinal cord injuries. Um, so I play wheelchair basketball. So that's the story in a sentence.
And Aaron, look, you and your brother and your sister too, of course, have always been people I've looked up to even before the accident, because you guys were just are still and always have been incredible kids.
Thank you.
But let's be honest, a lot of people would have given up. It could have been very easy to get distracted, to get involved in things that we shouldn't get involved in, to not be as productive and as inspiring as you've become. How'd you do it? How are you doing it?
I mean, we always have, you just have to know that you're never alone. Like I always had, the rest of my family to rely on. I had my brother and my sister, my 2 cousins, my aunt, uncle. So we all just, we're all very, very close with each other. So we know that if you're ever down, or if, something's ever wrong, you always have, your family to fall back on. So we all, just keep each other happy. We're all very involved with each other. So I guess that's how we all got through it.
And you do have an incredibly supportive family.
I do.
And whether it's your uncle or aunt, your siblings, your cousins, your grandmother, your grandmothers, and you have two. You're blessed with 2 grandmothers. One of us on the call today, and so many people who love you guys. What's high school been like at Emory? Middle school and high school at Emory?
So it's been great. I actually wasn't at Emery for middle school, but I've heard great things
You were
about it.
Trafton.
Yes, but the high school at Emery, it's been amazing. I've made some great friends. I've reestablished some great friendships. The school is just amazing. The facility's great, but it's just a very happy place. It's a very safe, welcoming environment. So I mean, there's not really much else to it. It's a great place in general. I love it.
I have a couple more questions for Aaron, then I'm going to open up the floor for anyone who else has a question. You can, there's a chat function on Zoom, and you could just type in your question. And anyone who has a question, feel free to type it in, and I'll get to it. And if you don't need to use the chat function, just in a few minutes, unmute yourself, and you can ask a question of Aaron. Aaron, I have to put my rabbi hat on. You know me. Has there been anything in the Jewish tradition or community, or just anything about Judaism that's kind of helped you in these last several years since the accident?
Yeah. Well, of course, every Friday as a family, we always make sure to celebrate Shabbat. The whole family will gather around the kitchen table. We'll light the Shabbat candles. So that's been a tradition. We've never ever, missed that. So we always make sure to do that. And then after that, we'll just go on with our night, hang out with our friends. It's a Friday night, but we always celebrate Shabbat. We always celebrate Passover, Hanukkah, the major holidays. We've never ever missed as a family. So we always make sure, it's the fun spirit of it too. It's being with the family, being together, knowing that you have, people that you love to celebrate those holidays with. So that's really, had a big positive impact on not just me, but the whole family.
Yeah, and that's a beauty. One of the reasons I think we as Jews are still here is we have these built-in holidays. We have built-in one day a week where we know we can be together with our loved ones and with God and with our community. and it
Definitely.
reinforces it constantly in our busy lives that it's an anchor, if you will. And I want to take a step back for a second because, and I should have asked this at the beginning, but I think a lot of people don't realize um, how good your Houston, our local Houston wheelchair basketball team is, and what University of Alabama has done with wheelchair basketball. Take a step back and just tell us a little bit about how wheelchair basketball works, what team you're on, and why it's such a big deal that you've been recruited by the University of Alabama.
Okay, so I play wheelchair. I play wheelchair basketball. It's a national league, so it's all over the country. Um, and our team is sponsored by Tier Memorial Hermann, the medical company or brand. So there are teams in places from California to North Carolina. So it's all across the country. And we've traveled to at least a quarter of the states in the country for wheelchair basketball. So in college, not all colleges, but a good sized amount of colleges have wheelchair basketball programs. So Alabama currently, I think, is number 2 in the country. Their wheelchair basketball program is the second best after, I think, the University of Texas Arlington right now. But it's a very big deal for me, just because this is what I've been working towards, for the past 9 years. I've been, pouring blood, sweat, and tears into this, and now I'm, it's the hard work's finally paying off, and now I'm getting ready for the next step, which is college ball. So.
And do you travel? Have you guys traveled internationally to play basketball?
I have not. My brother Peter, I think it was 2 or 3 summers ago, he actually traveled to Israel to compete in the Maccabi games for wheelchair basketball. So I was too young at the time, but that's the next step for me. And then hopefully after college, after I complete college and I finish wheelchair basketball, in that phase, hopefully the next step is the Paralympics for me. So that will
Very
be my next goal.
Now, would that be in Japan this summer or then 4 years later?
I think maybe for the next one, yeah, just because of COVID and everything.
I know they always follow the Olympics,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they do.
Now, why University of Alabama? What was it about Alabama that attracted you there?
Well, I mean, one of the factors is Peter was there, so it'd be nice just to play with him for a couple more years.
Yeah,
But I know the team very well. I know the coach. I know the players. So there's already some, there's already some like friendship and relationship that's been built. Just because over the summers in the past, I actually went to Alabama for the training camp, and I got to train and practice with the team. And then on top of that, they have an amazing, like, pristine facility that they finished building, I think, in February of 2018. So it's very, very new. But the school's, resources, the school's classes, everything is just, it's amazing. It's perfect for what I want to do.
Now, I remember right after the accident, this is my last question, so, and then we'll have a few minutes if anyone else has any questions. I remember right after the accident, many famous sports personalities in Houston came to visit y'all in the hospital, but there was one athlete in particular that really developed a strong relationship with you guys, and that was J.J. Watt. Tell everyone what that relationship's been like for you.
So it's really been an influential relationship. I mean, he's JJ. He's an amazing guy, and we ever since he visited us soon after the accident, we just kept in touch with him ever since, and our relationship's only gone stronger since then. So over the years, we'll keep in touch with him. He's been busy with football and everything, but every now and then, he'll come over for dinner, or we'll just, we'll have a talk with him, catch up, to see how he's doing. But he's truly, truly an amazing guy.
Yeah, and he really has kept up with you guys despite how busy he is and how famous he is now. And he's
He really
engaged.
has.
He already got married, I think. I mean,
Yeah, he has gotten married. I think it was a few months ago, or like just before COVID.
I remember when we honored him and his family and his parents came to Beth Yeshurun and he came to Beth Yeshurun. I remember I was so mad. I was like at lunch and he came to the day school to visit you guys and
Yeah.
I wasn't able to see him. Um, that's awesome. It's good to hear that there are some good guys out there in the sports world. And I'm sure as inspiring as he's been for you guys, I'm sure and probably more so you've inspired him. Let me ask, does anyone have any questions for Aaron? Why we've got a few more minutes with him. Aaron, maybe you've answered all our questions.
I
You've
guess
done
so.
such a good job that there's no other questions to ask. I think I know I speak on behalf of a lot of people that I really mean when I say that you and your brother and sister really are an inspiration for so many people. You guys really are. Keep
Thank
on what you're doing. David, did you have a question?
Yeah, first of all, good to see you, Aaron. Aaron lives about 6 doors down from us, so we do see him and his family outside very regularly. I wanted to ask you for the program at Alabama, first of all, how is Peter doing this year? Is the season on or is it curtailed dramatically? How has COVID impacted his ability to play and the plans for next year?
So first off, he's loving it. He's having the time of his life, being able to bond with the team. And they recently just started allowing, like physical practices, so scrimmaging. And before that, they were just doing, social distance workouts, like one at a time, just to stay spaced out. But the season overall, there hasn't been much of a season. They actually are playing. They do have a small tournament. I think next weekend they will be playing Auburn, because Auburn also has a wheelchair basketball program, and they'll be playing the University of Texas Arlington, which is currently the #1 team in the country. So that will be next week. And I think if you just look up Alabama Adaptive Athletics live stream, I'm sure you could find it. And because the game, it will be live streamed if any of you want to watch it.
How long is the season? Normally, if it was a regular season, how many games would there be?
If it was a normal season, if I had to guess, maybe around 30, I think, around that. I think so. I'm not sure though. That's how much we had, per season in the league, the high school league I play in now. College, I'm not sure if it's a little more or less or around the same. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Aaron, again.
May I comment?
Oh yeah, sure.
Sorry. Hi.
This is Aaron's grandmother, one of Aaron's grandmothers.
I have to say that two things I think have really, really led Peter and Aaron and Willa, but Peter and Aaron because we're talking about the basketball now. One was I always say, when people say to me they can't afford to go to college, I think if you have two things, you can do anything you want. One is if you have your health, and two is if you want it. And as far as Peter and Aaron have been concerned, now with the way they were told by their parents or raised by their parents, because they say that personalities are formed by the time we're 5, and the focus that this wheelchair basketball has given them, I have found that there isn't anything that they cannot do. And in their minds, there isn't anything they cannot do. And therefore, there isn't anything they cannot do. The very first time I used to go watch them practice when they did practice every Tuesday night. And the very first time that I saw one of the players, not one of my grandsons, fall on the hardwood floor on their face with their metal wheelchair on their back, I gasped. The second time I gasped a little less. And after that, I was laughing with them. And you know what they do after they fall? They're always offered help, but rarely do they take it. They usually get themselves up and then they play even harder than they did before they start. And this is the most amazing thing I have ever seen. It's my grandchildren getting involved in a world that we know nothing about. And it is absolutely wonderful. And each of them has focused on that. And I think that's led them through everything. And they put their effort, Aaron and Peter and Willa put their effort towards everything they do that way with a very strong focus. And I am so proud of you, Aaron, and so proud of Peter and of Willa.
Thank you, Grandma.
You're welcome.
Well
Thank
said,
you.
Sue. Well said. Well, I promised Aaron I'd get him off to class. Just I want to make one blurb tonight. We have another incredible speaker, a woman named Jennifer Tiga. She's a Black woman from Germany who found out at age 38 that her grandfather was the commandant of the Plaszow concentration camp, which became famous in Schindler's List. Emot Gut, an evil man, and imagine being a Black woman finding out that was your grandfather. And the title of her book, which I just finished, is My Grandfather Would Have Shot Me. She's an incredible woman who's traveled a lot in Israel and throughout the world, sharing her story. It's something you don't want to miss. It's tonight at 7:30. Jennifer, I believe we can just go right to our website, right? And you can find it there.
Yes, it's going to be on our website, and it'll also be on our YouTube channel, either one.
So tune in for that tonight at 7:30. Aaron, again, thank you. And let's be in touch. And good luck. Enjoy your senior year despite COVID. Are you going to be able to go out today for homecoming?
I think I might show. There's a small something going on at the school outside. So I might show up for a little bit. But
Cool.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. I enjoyed it, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you.
Thanks, Aaron. Lee Troad, everyone.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.